Hey everyone, welcome back. I'm Sean. Today we're talking about a transit that is big, long-term, and honestly, a little bit electric. We're talking about Uranus entering Gemini for the next 7 years. And whenever Uranus changes signs, the storyline changes, not just personally, but collectively. This is one of those transits that rewires how we think, communicate, connect, and even how we understand who we are. So in this video, I want to walk you through 3 things. What Uranus is really about, what Gemini energy is really about, what happens when you put them together for 7 years. Plus, I'll share some real-life examples, personal observations, and things you can actively work with, not just survive. Let's get into it. Uranus is not a gentle planet. It's not subtle. It doesn't whisper. Uranus shows up like, surprise, we're doing this differently now. In astrology, Uranus is the awakener. It represents sudden change, rebellion, liberation, and truth shocks. Uranus asks, where are you living on autopilot? Where have you accepted a version of life that no longer fits? Where are you being safe instead of being authentic? And here's the important thing. Uranus doesn't destroy for drama. It disrupts for freedom. But, and this is key, it feels destabilizing at first. Uranus transits often bring sudden realizations, fast pivots, unexpected endings or breakthroughs, a strong urge to reclaim yourself. It's the planet that speeds up timelines. What might have taken 20 years to change suddenly happens in 2. And because Uranus is an outer planet, these aren't small, forgettable moments. It takes 84 years to make a full cycle. Most of us only experience certain Uranus transits once in a lifetime, especially through personal angles like the ascendant or first house. So when Uranus speaks, it matters. Now let's talk about Gemini, because Gemini is often misunderstood. Gemini is not two-faced. Gemini is multifaceted. Gemini energy is curious, adaptable, social, quick-witted. In constant conversation with the world, Gemini is a mutable air sign, which means it's already comfortable with movement and change. Where fixed signs dig in their heels, Gemini says, interesting, tell me more. Gemini rules communication, language, media, learning, siblings and peers, social networks and everyday interactions. It's how we exchange information. Gemini people often know everyone, connect dots quickly, bridge different worlds, translate complex ideas into accessible language. Now here's where it gets interesting. When Uranus moves through Gemini, change doesn't come through the body or material world first, it comes through the mind. This is a 7-year rewiring of how we think, how we communicate, who we listen to, what we believe, how we connect. Uranus in Gemini doesn't ask, who are you becoming? It asks, how are you thinking about who you are? Information revolutions. Expect breakthroughs, but also disruptions in media, education, technology, artificial intelligence, journalism, language itself. Truth gets faster, but misinformation does too. This transit demands discernment. Not everything loud is true. Not everything viral is wise. Gemini wants quantity. Uranus demands clarity. So one of the big lessons of this transit is learning what deserves your attention and what doesn't. One thing I've learned from Uranus transits is this. They reveal where you've been loyal to a version of life that isn't loyal to you. Over long Uranus transits, people often leave marriages, change careers, reclaim buried parts of themselves, reinvent what success and authenticity mean to them. And while it might look dramatic from the outside, on the inside it often feels like, finally, this makes sense now. That's the gift of Uranus. Not comfort, truth. Okay, so let's look at each sign, sun, moon, and most accurate rising sign. Also listen to your Uranus placements. Hi Aries, Uranus is moving into your 3rd house. This 7-year period radically reshapes how you think, speak, learn, and communicate. Your voice changes. You may surprise yourself with what you say out loud, what opinions you claim, and how quickly your mind evolves. Writing, teaching, media, siblings, and everyday conversations become sites of awakening. You're learning to speak more freely and more truthfully. Hi Taurus, Uranus moves into your 2nd house of money, please don't panic. This doesn't mean you going bankrupt or will end up on the streets, but your money situation will change. Your relationship with money, self-worth, and stability undergoes a complete rethink. Old ideas about what makes you secure no longer hold. Income streams may shift suddenly, but this transit ultimately teaches you to value adaptability over predictability. You're discovering a new definition of worth, one that's less tethered to fear. Hi Gemini. Uranus moving through the first house is huge. This is not just about what you do, it's about who you are allowed to be. And because Gemini is already adaptable, this transit may not arrive as chaos, it may arrive as choice. Some possibilities. One, changing how you see yourself. You may suddenly realize, this version of me is outdated. I've been playing a role that no longer fits. I'm ready to express myself differently. Gemini energy is everyone's friend energy, but that can get exhausting. Uranus may shake up who you respond to, who has access to you, how available you are. You might realize, I don't want to be the connector for everyone anymore. Uranus doesn't ease you into identity change, it brings flashes of clarity. I can't be known as this anymore. That label doesn't fit. This story about me is done. Sometimes it's a name, sometimes it's a title, sometimes it's a role you've outgrown, and when it hits fast. Hi Cancer. Uranus moves into your 12th house. Change happens quietly at first. This transit awakens your subconscious, intuition, and inner life. Old patterns dissolve behind the scenes, sometimes before you fully understand what's happening. You're being freed from hidden fears, outdated identities, and emotional baggage, making space for a future you haven't consciously imagined yet. Hi Leo. Uranus activates your 11th house. Friendships, communities, and long-term visions shift dramatically. You may outgrow certain social circles and feel called toward more unconventional, future-focused people. Your hopes for the future change, and so does your role in the collective. This is about finding your people, not everyone. Hi Virgo. Uranus activates your 10th house. And no, this doesn't mean you're being fired. Your public life, reputation, and career path are disrupted. But for liberation, you're no longer interested in success that costs your freedom. Unexpected professional changes may arise, but they push you toward work that feels more intellectually alive and authentic. You're redefining what it means to be successful. Hi Libra. Uranus activates your 9th house. Your worldview expands rapidly. Beliefs you once held may suddenly feel too small. This is a 7-year awakening through travel, education, philosophy, publishing, or teaching. You're being encouraged to question assumptions and explore ideas that challenge your old narratives about meaning and truth. Hi Scorpio. Uranus activates your 8th house. This is deep psychological and emotional transformation. Uranus shakes up intimacy, trust, shared finances, and your relationship with control. You're learning to loosen your grip on people, on outcomes, on fear, and trust change itself. This transit is about emotional liberation, even when it feels uncomfortable. Some Scorpio suns and risings may have had conflict over joint resources like an inheritance or lump sum payment. Uranus is asking you to let go of this fight. The battle has gone on long enough. Uranus will shake up your joint finances to help you move on in your life. Hi Sagittarius. Uranus activates your 7th house of boyfriends, girlfriends, or any other combo. Relationships could become catalysts for awakening. You may attract more unconventional partners or experience sudden shifts in existing relationships. The lesson here is freedom within connection. You're redefining what partnership means, and learning that equality requires authenticity, not accommodation. If you in any relationships which are not authentic, chances are you in for a breakup. Uranus doesn't like fake friendships. Hi Capricorn. Uranus activates your 6th house of work and routines. Daily routines, work habits, and health systems are reinvented. Burnout becomes a signal, not something to push through. This transit invites experimentation, with schedules, wellness practices, and how you structure your days. The goal is sustainability, not rigid productivity. Don't be surprised if you suddenly start yoga for 7 years or start a new exercise routine, but it won't be 5 push-ups on a Sunday. Hi Aquarius. Uranus activates your 5th house of fun, joy and expression. Creativity, pleasure, romance, and self-expression get an electric boost. You're rediscovering joy in unexpected ways and may feel called to create, perform, or share something radically personal. This is about reclaiming playfulness and letting your uniqueness be visible, without editing it for approval. A word of caution. Your leisure activities may become highly unpredictable or unconventional, leading you to take up sudden new hobbies or take risks. Try to avoid gambling during this time. Hi Pisces, your 4th house of home and family is activated. Your sense of home, family, and emotional foundations change over time. This can bring relocations, redefined family roles, or inner emotional breakthroughs. You're learning that safety doesn't come from the past. It comes from flexibility. This transit rewires what belonging truly means. In my experience, a Uranus transit in the 4th house often leads to a change in where you live, sometimes moving from the city to the country, or from the land to the sea, some big change.